Hey Billy, I'm glad you're here today.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. So I know in the last session we kind of talked about the fear that you have of dogs. So I was wanting to explore that a little bit more today if you're comfortable. Um, can you start off by telling me like when this all started?
So, my fear of dogs started when I was little. I was like 6 or 7. I was bit by a chihuahua and I ended up having to get stitches. So, I've never had to have like any medical procedures done. So, whenever I had to go in and get stitches, that was pretty scary.
Oh wow. Yeah, I can see how that would be scary, especially being such a young age and it being that serious medically. So can you tell me like how do dogs make you feel or being around dogs, how does that make you feel?
So, like if I leave my house and someone's walking their dog on like one of those retractable leashes, that really bothers me. Like I want that dog to stay close to whoever it's with because it just makes my heart race and I kind of sweat a little bit. And I just get really nervous that like the dog's gonna get off of the leash and the collar and come towards me.
Okay. So it sounds like you're having some physical and mental symptoms whenever you're around dogs. And that's completely understandable when we're scared of things that can kind of trigger like emotional and physical responses. So what is your fear of the dogs? Like what are you scared? You said it's going to come towards you. What are you scared it's going to do?
I really just don't want to be bit again. Like I can't get over that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's understandable. Thank you for sharing that with me. I know it's probably difficult to even talk about dogs from the way that you're saying you're kind of scared of them. So I really want to help you kind of work through this fear so that you can live your day to day life without having to think about this because I can imagine that's probably pretty debilitating. So there's actually an intervention method. It's called exposure therapy. And in exposure therapy, we would start with small steps to kind of work your way up to maybe being in the same room as a dog or petting a dog, just depending on what your goals are. But we go at your own pace, whatever you're comfortable with. We work you up. We start exposing you to small things to build you up to the big thing. So, can you tell me like 5 examples of situations that you encounter that are stressful for you in relation to dogs?
Yeah. So, like when I'm just thinking, probably like a dog getting too close to me in public, like I said a minute ago, or like being in the same room as a dog. Also, I get really nervous like when I go to someone's house and they won't put their dog up without me having to ask. Like, I don't want to be that person, like, hey, please put your pet up, but like I have to. And then I don't like my kids being around dogs. I don't want to have to relive that with them. I don't want to have to take them to the hospital. And then movies with dogs, I don't like it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that with me. I can see how that could be pretty scary given your fear. So, what I'd like to do is maybe just rate those 5 things you just told me 1 to 5, one being the least scary thing for you, the least stressful thing, and then 5 being your most panic situation. And we'll start off with number 1. So, would you say that the like least stressful situation would maybe be movies with dogs?
Yeah, that would be my number one.
So we could start off by watching some movies with dogs, maybe looking at some pictures, just kind of working you up. And we'll go through these steps as you're comfortable, but I'd be there with you through this. Um, your number 2 situation, would you maybe say being too close to them in public?
Yeah, yeah.
So after you finish that first step, we can maybe go out or have you go out with someone and just kind of be around them in public. You don't have to be right near them, but just kind of work up to that. What about the
Yeah.
third one? Maybe um, going to somebody's house where they have the dog put up. Is that something you feel like you could do?
Yeah.
Okay. And then that next step, maybe being in the same room as the dog. So it could even be kenneled or something, but just still being in the same room as you. Is that something you feel like you could do? Okay. And then maybe the last one. I know it sounds like your kids are really important to you. So maybe having your kids around dogs after you know you're comfortable with dogs and can trust said dog, maybe have your kids around the dogs.
Yes. Because that's one of my biggest worries.
That's understandable. I feel like these are some steps we can take to just kind of work you up. And if that's something you're agreeable to, we can start off next week by kind of maybe watching some movie, maybe looking at pictures and then watching a movie about a dog if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I really need to. I don't want to continue to live like this and then scare my kids away from pets.
Yeah. Well, I commend you for coming in today and taking these steps, not only for yourself, but your kids too. I can tell that you really value your relationship with them, and that's important. So, thank you for everything you shared with me today. And I look forward to getting started and helping you reach your goal.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Billy.